Great. Thank you, Giri, for being part of this customer testimonial. We are very excited to understand how ConvoZen has been useful at Lendingkart. So before we start, I'll just quickly brief about what exactly is ConvoZen. ConvoZen, as you know, and for people to know, it's a conversation AI platform which we have built at No Broker. So it took us around 7 years to build it. And as we speak, it can derive intelligence from all the conversations, be it from the calls, be it from your chats, be it from emails, be it from the social media. You have communications with customers happening at Facebook, Instagram, all the places. It can collate at one place. It can transcribe all the calls which are in any Indian language much better than any other transcription solution which is available in the market. And once we have the transcriptions available, we do some magic on top of it which gives you the intelligence from those conversations. And because now all the conversations are at one place, you get to know your customer better. You have a customer 360-degree view, and you also know how exactly your call center agents or your customer service agents are speaking to the customers, and if there are actions which needs to be taken, if there are any lapse in the services what you are offering. So with that, wanted to understand what is the process at Lendingkart, where are the customer touch points, and how are you managing it before ConvoZen?
First of all, Akhil, great to be a part of this testimonial, and I think you've done some fantastic work here. I think the entire omni-channel conversations and distilling that into intelligence is not something that we've found elsewhere. It's a tall order, not easy to develop, and considering the nuances that we all have to deal with, like Indian languages, for example, English, for example, formal communication, informal words that we used, and also the domain specificity. It's been able to adapt to that. So great piece of work. Congratulations on doing this.
Thank you very much.
And we are a happy customer of ConvoZen. I would definitely like to say that. And as you know, right, Lendingkart is a MSME lending platform, and then we bring the demand on one end, and we have co-lenders on the other end who bring in funding, and then it's a win-win for everyone. The customer gets a loan to enhance their business and working capital, and we are able to enable them, and the lenders get a customer themselves. So it's overall, that's the business model that we are in. And as far as customer touch points are concerned, there's a sales process wherein we call in the customer, and then we try and get their information. We do a credit underwriting of the customer, then convince them why our loan proposition is probably the best proposition for them. Post that, there's disbursal process, and then we have touch points through the lifetime of the loan being live with us, wherein there are several conversations during collections, during serving the customer with SOAs and no objection certificates and things like that. So that's the entire process.
And it's a pretty long process.
It's a pretty long process, and it's a long living process. We are quite significantly lower than the industry average in terms of the turnaround time from lead to dispersal.
Sure. So what was the process before ConvoZen, and how did ConvoZen help you in improving that particular process, monitoring the quality, and what was your spread in terms of the quality checks which you were doing on the conversations which were happening?
Right. So if you look at the loan process, right, first of all, it's very important that we are regulatorily compliant, right? And then we need to understand what is happening through the customer journey. A lot of it would often rely on the agent themselves adding information manually into the customer relationship management tools, right, or the dashboards that we provide to them. A lot of that has become much simpler. And in order to ensure that the agents are doing the right thing, we would have a sampling of calls, and then there's a QC team which would go and listen to those calls, and then they would manually evaluate whether they have done the right thing or not. And as you can understand, it's a fairly complex process. There are more than 100 moments, right, which are important for us, from greeting the customer to indicating that there are compliance needs, indicating what the product is, and making the whole selling very, very comfortable for them. This entire thing has many moments, and capturing all those moments is non-trivial.
And all of it was done manually earlier?
A lot of it was done manually.
And to what % of the calls you were able to do it?
It was single digit. As you can understand, right, at the top of the funnel we have close to 200,000 100,000 customer leads coming in, and it goes through the funnel. So it's a non-trivial process. So single digit.
How has ConvoZen changed it? What is that
We're
percentage?
close to 100%.
Oh,
We're close to
perfect.
100%.
Great. Glad to know that. And what about in terms of the languages? So when you have a quality team, and I'm sure because you are pan-India, you will have customers speaking in different languages. So were you able to cater to all the languages in terms of the quality? And did ConvoZen help you in maybe unlocking some insights from the languages which were not available
Yes,
earlier?
that was the unique value proposition, so to speak, right? But, tailoring it for the Indian context, and particularly for our customers who are small traders, right, is very challenging. And in the past, we have tried a few models as well. But a lot of them work only on English, for example, right? That too with a certain accent. So ConvoZen was able to provide us with the right kind of transcription and also extract moments out of it, and that was fairly unique, and frankly that was what initially had attracted us to the platform.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, so Giri, so great. So now I understand that you have 100%, close to 100% compliance, quality is automated with AI. So that's one of the use case. Where else have you used ConvoZen other than quality?
Multiple use cases, and as we think further ahead, right? I mean, there are more use cases that we could do. We could apply the technology on. I'll give you 3 examples. First is in terms of understanding whether we should chase down a customer more.
Yep.
Right, which sort of translates into what is the propensity of a customer to, and their intent to really take a loan from us. So from a conversation, I mean, if I were having a face-to-face conversation with a customer, it's very easy to understand that. But in a large process, in a process that lasts very long, when the customer is having conversation with potentially multiple sales agents, that might be challenging. That's one use case. And
so basically the propensity score which you can configure at ConvoZen, which not only spans across a call, but it can be across multiple calls and conversation. So that is something which has been of very valuable.
Absolutely. We can identify customers who might be helped with a higher touch.
Yep.
Right, with the customers who might want to understand the product better, who might want to understand the loan proposition better. So it's very useful. That's one use case. Another use case is not everyone probably has the right intent, right? I mean, there's potential for not the right kind of customer coming in.
And India is a very jugadu country.
Yes, it indeed is, right? And there are areas wherein we are able to understand the conversation, right? Derive intelligence out of it, and then say that, look, probably this is a customer who might need some additional stringent credit checks, and that understanding is very important as well.
So to add, so basically there are certain things which we expect our agents and our customer service guys to do, which we typically train them. Now with ConvoZen, you can just make them as a rule, and system can automatically flag those things, so that you really don't have to worry about whether my agent is working at the 100% potential or not. As in, when there is a fallacy in the process, it pops you out and you can fix it then and there itself.
True, and I think you're also working on a feature wherein we would be able to put the agent into a training queue. It's something that we should probably experiment with as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so I think this is fantastic. So use cases we have been able to understand, but for people to know, if we have to quantify whatever we have spoken about, if you can talk about some numbers in terms of how you have seen the change in the business, that will be really helpful.
Definitely. I think, first when we spoke about it, right, which is the coverage in terms of quality, that's the number that pops out, and that was the number that we sort of started with, right, from single digit going to close to 100%. That's a very important number. Second number is in terms of the conversion of the customer itself. We've been able to go from lower double digit to slightly higher. Now I can't give you the exact number, but that's been very significant.
Valuable to business.
Absolutely, right? And there's one other use case, and a very unique use case, which at the beginning we sort of did not envisage, which is, we would like to improve our customer self-serve capabilities, our app and our website as well. And there's a lot of product input that is required for that. Typically that happens through a customer interview. But the insights that we have from the conversational AI itself helped us improve our product. So with that we were able to roll out a bunch of features which enhanced our self-serve capability on the customer dashboard.
Perfect. And ability of ConvoZen to integrate with any of the CRMs like via webhooks, emails, and all those things. So I have seen one of the use cases which has worked very well. And just help you understand if it has worked in your case. Many times when agents are speaking to the customers say, okay, call me at 5:30 tomorrow and all those things. And agents, because they are in hurry or whatever it is, they don't mark it in the system.
Correct. Yes.
And then you lose out on a very potential lead because you didn't call on the time, and then that brings down the customer experience, and then many times customer says, no, I don't want that service now.
Correct.
Has that case happened at your end, and is it useful?
In fact, that was one of our evaluation points as well. There are two things, right? One is it needs to be API based. Second, we need easy access to data, whether it's in terms of reporting or even for transactional use cases like the one you mentioned, generating events and those events going into our system. Very, very important. And typically at the tail of the funnel, wherein the customer has provided all the information, the customer has been credit underwritten, and at that point in time, we would want to do a disbursal, and that involves a KYC process. And a KYC process is, a video KYC process. Customer would want to be comfortable. They would typically say that, look, I'm at my store right now, please call me later in the evening. So that's a very important thing for us, and the ability to capture that accurately and make sure that we call the customer at that time is
nice.
Is of importance for us.
So I think all this is so fascinating, and this is something which we envisaged years back, and seeing it into the reality is something very, very heartwarming. But one more amazing feature which we are coming out of with this, because we have so much of speech to text data, we understand multilingual conversation, we even understand the dialect. What we have come out is with a voice bot, which is not a flow-based voice bot, but it is a conversational voice bot which can talk in the voice of your agent. Obviously, we are working with CNV on that particular side, and we had a demo for that for Lendingkart. So what do you think about it, and do you see a use case of that?
Akhil, when your team told me about this, frankly speaking, I was very skeptical. A few months ago, I heard this demo wherein AI voice bot sort of arranges for an appointment for a Tesla car sale, right? And that sounded really awesome. But what I could not believe was how real the conversation was when I looked at that demo, right? I mean, I had that conversation. I tried to mislead the bot, and it did the right thing in pretty much all the cases. Lot of applications there for sure, right? And I think the fact that you can have an even-keyed conversation with how do I put it, right? I mean, you'd have good agents, you'd have not so good agents, but you want a certain agent conversation to happen with the customer. I think that's possible with
that's like the best AI agent which is homogeneous,
right?
Who is not biased and who doesn't change by the mood which a human has. So that is something which you will be able to achieve with that particular thing. So looking forward to a use case deployment on Lendingkart on that particular
definitely,
part.
We should definitely try that.
So I feel that AI will make human more smarter, because now humans will not spend their time in doing useless work, the work which doesn't need their brain and mind, and it's going to support businesses, it's going to support employees to work better and give the better customer experience overall. What are your thoughts?
I think, if you look at the applications, they are massive, right? And even if I look at our use case, which is MSME lending, there's so many businesses, small businesses out there that need access to credit, and I think technologies like this enable us to do that.
Perfect. And one thing, so you have been the first person who was ready to try ConvoZen and champion it like it was the product which was homegrown at Lendingkart. So we are always very, very thankful to you because of your support, and we have learned a lot during this journey of Lendingkart adopting ConvoZen and created some amazing features which are not only useful for Lendingkart, but it will help the industry. So that's great, and we are grateful for you on that.
I'm glad, it's been a great collaboration, and I'm looking forward to more of this.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.